What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Brickcast for my series on tracking the progress on the Lego Battlebox diorama playset. And looking here at this build, we have made some significant progress. So I got pretty excited about this, and I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna build the entire left side, right? I'm gonna work on the hazards, and I'm gonna get those going, and I'm just gonna build the whole left side and see what it looks like. And boy, just the way these smooth tiles look, and with the hazards attached and everything, it has gotten me really psyched for this build. So today we're just gonna talk about the hazards, and the first hazard that I want to show off is going to be the screws. So if we flip this guy around right here to the blue side, so the screws, you just twist this knob right here and it twists these screws. And I will say this was definitely the hardest one to implement. It was kind of an afterthought in the digital mock-up, and for that reason I had to do a little bit of surgery on this build, we'll say, to get them to work. And the biggest problem I found was this brick right here. It just is too much stress put on it from these gears, and it lifts up. So basically what I had to do was I had to lift everything up by 2 layers. Lego Technic gears and mechanisms aren't exactly my strong suit as a Lego builder, so you can kind of see that here, but once I put this panel on, the gears do work much better. And so I'm thinking that these will work out just fine, but I don't know. I might come back and revisit these a little bit. So moving on to the simplest and I think most elegant looking hazard is the pulverizer hammer, which we have one right here on the side. And this one is just super simple. It's just some Technic pinhole bricks with an axle that's attached to the hammer, so you can twist it down and you can actually drop that thing pretty hard. I don't know if you hear the noise that's making. So yeah, this looks really clean. I was really proud of how the hammer turned out. I think the light gray ended up looking really good, and you know, just the whole hammer head with these rounded bricks, I'm super proud of how that turned out. And I think it looks really good next to a robot. It's a little scaled down, but I think it's cool. It's a cool little play feature, and mostly I'm just really happy with how it looked. The light gray was perfect. Now the final hazard, this one is easily the coolest and the one that I was most proud to implement. And as you guys can see, we have the kill slots right here, which, you know, are kind of a hazard in and of themselves. You just twist this knob right here, and you can see these saw blades pop out, and that little implementation ended up being super smooth and working super well. You can even launch robots off of here with it, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I was pretty proud of that, and you can see it looks pretty clean right here. The gap is just big enough, and this one barely clears the side there. So I had to make a few modifications to this. If you remember from last week's episode, I had these slopes in there, and they were designed to clear the saw piece. So this would hopefully clear that right there, but it wasn't working, it was getting stuck. So I had to retcon this piece, and I found this sloped piece here, which is a little bit difficult to see, but I threw that in the middle. I just cut out the slopes here and put regular bricks, and that cleared it up, and that allowed for perfect motion. And as you can see, this is a much simpler Technic design. It's a nice long axle, except the cool thing about this one, which makes it work so much more smoothly than the kill saws, is just that there's not as much on here that's slowing it down. Like the kill saws have all of these sort of blade pieces attached, which kind of add a lot of friction into the mix. So this is a nice smooth adjustment, and I'm super proud of how those turned out. As always, the kill saws, one of my favorite hazards in BattleBots. They're super cool, and yeah, I was happy to come out with them. So yeah, this is the piece that I used for the kill saws, and it's kind of an awkward piece. It's a very strange shape, but it worked super well because it allowed itself to clear the floor of the box and stick out and look like they're round saws. Just enough of it is exposed that the saws look round, even though it's really just a little hinged brick with half of a saw showing. So the perfect place for this piece, other than I think maybe the Bionicle sets that this was from originally. And I don't know, now that I look at it, maybe it could be useful for like a bumper on a Mad Max car or something. I gotta keep that in mind. So finally, I just wanted to show off this really, really smooth surface here. Now, putting this whole thing together was a bit of a puzzle, not to mention that on Digital Designer, it's kind of hard to tell where one black tile starts and the other ends, so it was kind of a pain. But I got it together. I had to, because of the adjustments I made to the kill saws, obviously, I had to make some adjustments to the pattern. But honestly, I think it looks super good. You know, the Battlebox is kind of uneven a little bit. There's a lot of like cracks and crevices for the different panels they have to put down. So for once, like having a bunch of cracks between all these tiles actually is kind of accurate in a sense. And I just love how smooth it is. And what really makes me happy is like you put a BattleBot here, right? And it just rolls so smoothly on this surface. Like that just makes me so happy as we can roll this around. Like, oh, that's great. That works way better than I could have imagined. Anyway, that does it for this little update on the Battlebox build. Just kind of a short video here. I wanted to show you guys the progress I'm making, and I'll let you know that next episode we're going to be working on filling this all in, so you can kind of see the process of how this more finished half came to be. Thank you guys so much for building with me. I've certainly enjoyed building with you. Until next time, this has been Drew from Brickcast.